Hello everybody, and welcome back to another brand new episode of The Broken Test, where I go ahead and take a completely average Joe CO, put him up against the Broken Bunch, the Busted Few, the Auto Win Button COs. You of course know them all, T0 COs, and today I actually have two matches here that I'm going to focus on, because this one, right here, that you're looking at, didn't go too well for me very quickly. So I figured that it would actually be a really good opportunity to show you just how strong Sturm can be in some cases. Alright, but I also have a second match here for you also, where I went up against Hachi out of all the people. So, very fun, very exciting. So, let's go ahead and get right into this one here. I have picked Andy, basic, day-to-day, nothing. Hyper Repair, 2 HP, Hyper Upgrade, 5 HP, Healing globally, small firepower bonus, movement 1. You know, nothing too significant right there. Now, Sturm, on the other hand. So, Sturm is a lot different than his Advance Wars 2 counterpart. Right? Because in Advance Wars 2, he's insanely broken. Like, even more so than this game. Right? Because in the normal game, I think he gets like I think it's like 120% firepower and defense, and then, you know, on top of Sturm's already broken abilities, like being able to move throughout the map at no cost, right? So you got recons that are flying across the map at like God knows what pace, right? They're going like 8 squares. You can't stop them, right? They're all over the place. It's ridiculous. But in Advanced Wars by Web, okay, so Sturm, he gets minus 20% firepower, which is, yeah, it's pretty low. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty low. But he gets 120% defense. Now, most of the time, defense actually will work way better than offense in any way, because it's a 20% deduction of your overall damage to him, and then, you know, offense is just, you know, whatever, nobody cares about offense. Anyways, point of the matter is defense is way better. Yeah, just plain and simple. Anyways, so aside from all that, Sturm also pays a 0% movement cost over everything, like all terrain. So, you know, tires, treads, all that, nothing matters, can just go straight through forests like it's nothing. He's an unstoppable wrecking machine, is essentially what he is. Right? So, yeah, and then his Meteor Strike. He actually has two versions of Meteor Strike in this one. So the first one, it's 6 stars, and it does 4 HP global, or not global, 4 HP damage to a, I think it's like 3x2, I don't know, diamond-shaped square on the map. I mean, you've probably seen a Meteor Strike. It's nothing too new for you, right? But yeah. The normal one, it only does 4 HP, so like it can be good. Most of the time, probably just want to save for the bigger one. Because the bigger one, that one will actually do 8 HP of damage, right? So it cripples everything that it hits, taking it all down to 2 HP. And I mean, with Sturm's already negated offense, and you kind of need to have things really weak in order to finish them off. So, you know, it plays a very good role in the overall battle, right? So, unfortunately, you're not going to see any of that this match, regrettably, because I kind of didn't go too well. But I'm going to show you what happened here, okay? So this one's just going to be super quick. First turn, you know, standard infantry builds from me, nothing really out of the ordinary, alright? So, okay. So Sturm immediately moves this infantry over here. And I thought that was super weird, because I was like, okay, why is he doing that? Like, is he just making a mistake? But then, lo and behold, I figured out what he was doing, right? And I guess you could probably already picture what he's doing here. Yeah, so I go down and I immediately move towards this, because, you know, that's like your standard play, right? I do move my infantry down here, but you can see here, so he just completely negates grabbing the city, and he's already got an infantry like super close to my HQ. So, not good. Not good at all. And yeah, in hindsight, I realized this was probably a really, really bad map to play against a Sturm. But I did actually leave it open where the people could pick either Colin, Hachi, Sturm, or Sensei. Because I believe those are the only ones I haven't covered so far. But yeah, so I mean, I moved my guy down here, and it kind of clicks into me, like, at this point, I'm like, oh, wait a second. Oh, wait a second. Oh, God, no, this isn't good. So yeah. And look at this recon! Look at this movement on this recon. It's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 movements, and it's already right by my HQ. Like, look at that. Terrifying. Utterly terrifying. Okay, so he moves his infantry around, and like, see, this one's already like in range of my HQ. It's terrible. So the only thing I can do is really put my guy on the HQ, try to build a recon on my own. But like we can see, like his recon movement is insane, whereas mine, you know, it's just doesn't really go anywhere, right? Maybe if there was like some roads here or something, it could be possible. But yeah, no, just not good. Not good at all. But yeah, okay, so like D4, right? Just moves a bunch of infantry, goes in, takes 2 attacks here, right? Barely does any damage, which is, you know, neither here nor there. Not really too much can be expected from that, but he's already captured here. He has an infantry here. Recon moved in position to actually block this guy from getting to the HQ2, which is super smart. I mean, he could have attacked from here, but he didn't. So this is actually good placement. Good placement. David Lyon, good job right there, bud. Yeah, so I just kind of moved my guys in, just, you know, can't really expect too much. And I think I did some damage calculators here, and I was like, is it worth it to try to take a shot at that infantry? Is it not worth it? Like, I don't know. So I just didn't do anything. And at this point, I was kind of just like, well, I guess I'm just out of luck here. So yeah, the gate's capture, goes right for the HQ. Now the funny thing about this is we're gonna take a look at the damage calculator. Yeah, that thing. And like, look at the damage here. Like, I can only do like maximum 3 damage to this flipping guy on the HQ. And he's already got a bunch of guys in position to like counter me. And maybe if I had like more units down there, it might be possible. But I don't know. Did not work out very well. So he goes ahead and moves a couple more of his guys over there in the north. Doesn't even matter what he's doing up here, because like nothing's gonna happen. Yeah, I take a shot. Takes this guy out because I need to have access to that guy, right? And I take a shot and I do 2 damage. Now I'm just gonna like kind of check something here because it is possible that I made a tactical error, but I'm not sure. So let me just see here. So if we have this and we have this, so we already know that's gonna do about 28% damage. Well, so if I take the infantry instead, that's only doing 25% damage. Yeah, so that's probably a mistake. Now I could have, maybe I could have like taken out this infantry with these 2 infantry, but I kind of thought maybe that wasn't gonna work, but I don't know. Anyways, so yeah, mistakes were made, terrible mistakes. Unfortunately, that did not work out very well for me. Because actually, if you really think about it, so this guy's sitting on the HQ. HQs have 4 stars on them, right? So that's going to give you an additional 40% defense on top of your defense already. So Sturm is sitting there with an infantry on my HQ that has 160% defense. So 60% of my offense is just gone. It's gone right there, right? So any base damage that I would have, like normally an infantry would have like, you know, like 50, 49%, something like that, right? So like that's all gone. So I'm only doing like 2 damage. No good. So we see that he takes the shot right here. And he took a shot right here. I mean, that's what I meant to say. Goes in for the cap, so it's sitting at 2 HP right now, so I'm like, oh man. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? So, yeah. So I take a shot there, and I go in, try to take a shot here, hoping I could take it down to 1, only took it down to 2. At this point, I'm just like, kind of like cursing the world right now, you know, it just doesn't work out. So, I think he actually, no, I think he just did it right away. Okay, so it's not going to show it, but anyway, so he captured the HQ. He got it. He got me. Cut down in my prime. So, Sturm. Better than Andy. At least in HQ rushes, that's for sure. So, you know, it was unfortunate, but it happened. So that just kind of shows like how powerful Sturm is right there too, right? Because even for say like, you know, it was a normal CO, like I would have been able to stop that HQ camp and at least play out the rest of the match. Maybe if I managed to capture this comm tower a little bit quicker, like I could have had like maybe that 10% would have helped me too, but yeah, whatever. What can you do, right? It is what it is. That match is over. So I'm gonna see you again for the second match here because the second one is actually pretty cool too. So hello again, everybody, and welcome back. Part 2 here, or Broken Test Episode 4, 4.5 for an additional battle since, as we know, last one ended rather quick, right? Props to my opponent, by the way. That was a good HQ cap. Just hoping it was gonna last longer. That's okay. You know what? That just means that I'm gonna have to fight another Sturm someday. That's pretty much about it. So should be good, by the way. But I do have another one here where I'm up against Hachi, so that's pretty cool. So we already went through Andy. You know, don't need to go through him again. So Hachi is a little bit different. He's considered one of the best COs like ever. I think the original like developers of the game kind of made Hachi thinking that, you know, Advanced Wars would never become competitive, because his abilities are just absolutely broken, right? In the right hands, like he's nigh unstoppable. So on paper, he doesn't really look too powerful though. So Hachi gets minus 10% to his deployment cost. So like for example, an infantry would only cost him around 900 like gold or money or whatever the currency is in this game. So yeah, that's pretty good. Like Neo tanks are like under 20 grand, I think. Maybe a little more than 20 grand. I can't remember. I can't math right now. But anyways, incredibly cheap, right? His co-power, 3 stars. It's called Barter. So Barter allows him to pretty much make units on his bases for half deployment cost. So we're getting mega tanks out on the field for like 1400 gold. Right? I know, that's what I said. It's like crazy. It's like insane. It's like stupid broken. Neo tanks for like 1100 gold. Medium tanks for 8,000, like the price of a tank basically. Tanks are 3,500. Infantries are 500, but nobody builds infantries during that turn. Unless you use his super co-power, which is completely different. This is like, okay, so Barter, like, you know, you can kind of deal with Barter. Almost, right? It's tough. But Merchant Union, on the other hand, that's like just on a whole other level of crazy, right? Okay, so he also gets the half deployment cost, but now he's able to deploy units on cities, any city that he controls, for half deployment cost. So essentially, like if he has all these cities right here, he could be popping a unit on every single one of them. Now they're obviously fresh deployed, so they can't be moved, but they're there. So next turn, I mean, they're coming for you, right? The nice thing about that is you would actually be able to put like really big units right in the front line, so they're ready to go next turn. And I mean, you can't attack them because they're on a city. Well, I mean, you could attack them if you have like the proper setup, right? But yeah, just spooky stuff. Anyways, so let's get into this one. Standard infantry builds on day 1. Hachi, my opponent, decides to move his infantry over to capture his base on his side. You know, I see the importance of that also, so I go ahead and do that too. But that's just kind of like your standard opening play on this map. So this map is kind of cool. I was just checking out a couple maps, thinking like, you know, what seemed fun, what seemed cool. This one had like a lot of nice terrain to it, kind of like mildly open center, not really. A little bit of ability to front shift with this this bridge right here and kind of the shoals here, but essentially it's 2 factories versus the HQ 1 factory, right? I mean, there is an airport on either side, so that is possible to reinforce with air units, but we'll see how that goes. So yeah, just moving a couple of my infantry around. I kind of go up here because I want to get this property, and I'm trying to hopefully get this property, but I can't really quite remember what my thought pattern was for this one. Once again, these maps are actually played live, right? So there was no like, you know, humming and humming over a turn for like 7 days, right? Turns, quick, done. You have to use the brain power that you have on you in the person. None of this move planner stuff, right? I love the move planner, it's great. And, you know, if you have the time to use it, definitely use it. But I kind of prefer the live format, personally. But yeah. Actually, you know what? If anybody's interested, I think there is actually a live league going on the Discord right now, too. If you go to the Discord for Advanced Wars by Web, I think if you go under Leagues, you might be able to find info there. So if you're interested in actually finding other people that want to play live matches and you want some sort of competitive aspect of it with League, that's the place to go. 10 out of 10 would recommend. It's totally fun. And those matches don't actually affect your Advanced Wars by Web rating also. They have their own separate rating system. So, you know, you can do terribly bad in that league and nobody will ever know. Except for the other people that are in the league. And they're all pretty nice people, so don't worry about it. Alright, so more infantry moving around, you know, capturing properties. I finally go and capture this base too, which is pretty cool, you know, gonna get some units deployed up there. But Hachi also captures his base and is starting to push a lot of his guys forward. So I go to capture this this comm tower instead, and I can't quite remember why I did that. But you know, not really too bad of a deal, too big of a deal, I should say. But it does actually play a little role later on. So you'll see what happens there. I probably should have went for this city, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Alright, yeah. So lots of infantry up there in the north and a spooky battlecopter coming up out of nowhere, just popping up there. Literally spent all his money too to actually pull off that move, so that's very good, you know, very good use of all your funds, so that was not bad. You know, I do like that. And I mean, there's nothing really wrong with an early battlecopter also. Especially on this map. I mean, if you get a battlecopter in the center, you know, it can go either way and force your opponent to build either battlecopters or anti-air units, right? And anti-air units are fantastic, but if you get a few battlecopters there, force your opponent to build a few anti-air and then sort of overrun them with tanks, might end up pretty good for you, you know? You never know. But at the end of the day, it's all about placement, right? If you place your units right, I mean, sometimes it doesn't matter what your opponent has, you can just win. I can't win though, I'm terrible. Alright, so more infantry moving around. So now he's foregone the cap on this city and he's actually moving down towards my HQ, so I'm kind of having some thoughts here. Is he going to go for this city or is he going to go for my HQ? Like, if it was me, I probably would have went for the city and then like fade an HQ capture afterwards. So yeah, we'll see what he ends up doing, but the infantry are moving around. Battlecopter moves in. I skipped a little bit too far ahead, my apologies. He base skips and builds a tank. because he only has 800 funds left. So he wasn't able to build another infantry. Yeah, it's not really that bad of a base skip right there. He's not really gonna have too much else there. I mean, an early tank is pretty good. Like I was saying, the tank does counter the anti-air that I just put up there, but we'll see what happens. Okay, yeah, so I move a lot of my infantry up. Start capturing a lot of these cities that are on my side of the map. Mine, because I want them. You know, it's only fair, right? He already gets a discount. I want at least enough funds to be able to feed my family or something. Alright, so continuing on. Day 7, Hachi is capturing more properties, whole bunch of properties, and he actually goes in to capture that city like I was thinking, right? Pretty sure if I didn't move my infantry up, he would have most likely went for that HQ. You know, why not? You put pressure on the HQ early and it forces your opponent to play in that area rather than other areas, which would make it a lot easier for them to expand. Now, the only downfall with that is you might end up losing a lot of units fighting over an HQ, and that might not be something that you want to do. Alright, so this one I don't agree with. So he builds another battlecopter and double base skips. So now the issue becomes the unit count, because now I'm only 1 unit behind, whereas I should be 2 units behind, necessarily. I think. 2 or 3. I don't know. I can't remember how the first turn advantage thing works for second turn, but I know that your second turn is supposed to have at least a few units advantage in the early game. So, yeah. So you didn't see the damage there right away, but yeah, I did take a shot at this guy to stop this cap. Now, the reason I did that is because I know how dangerous it is to let Hachi have a city that's right beside my HQ, especially with his merchant union, right? So, like, if he gets this city and I can't take it back, and he gets merchant union, that could be a flippin' mega tank right beside my HQ. And then, like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna throw battlecopters at it and do like 1 damage a piece? Like, I don't know. I don't think that's gonna work out too well. But yeah, so that was my thought. So I'm like, all right, I gotta stop him. He ends up building that second battlecopter up here. So now he's gonna be able to have 1 on either side. And since I only have 1 anti-air, I can only zone out so much. Yeah, so that's an issue. My game froze a little bit. Forgive me. Alright, so yeah, so that is an issue. I just want to check something. Okay, so this tank right here can move quite a bit, and he ends up putting it on the HQ. So this is probably, I don't really think this is a great move right here. I mean, while it's important to guard your HQ, this tank probably could have been a lot better over here. Actually, most likely he could have actually put it on either of these 2 spots, because I wouldn't have been able to attack it with my tank, for 1, right? And 2, it would actually stop my ability to go over in that direction. So all in all, would have been very good for him, not too good for me. But he put it on the HQ, which makes it so, like, it zones out this entire area, which is nice, but he could have just zoned out a little bit more if you put it over there. And he is building lots of battlecopters, so he's really pumping that air superiority. But I go in and I take on infantry because I know that this guy is safe, because the only thing he's got is battlecopters over there. So I mean, that's not really going to do too much. So fantastic. What we got going on now is just more infantry moving up and taking a few more shots. Alright, so my thought with these movements is he's got a lot of units similar to mine. And I know that I have hyper upgrades, so if I keep my units alive, I can keep them, right? So if I just get first shots on these guys, and hopefully, like, you know, maybe take him out even, that would be fantastic. But as long as I can get first shots, it'll weaken his entire front line. So I might be able to just hold him back that way. I go in for the capture with the 7 HP one here because I was not expecting to actually be able to take that city. What was this battlecopter and the 2 infantries here being able to do that. So I go in with this one, the weaker unit, because I know that if he goes to attack this tank with this battlecopter, I have this anti-air unit right here so I can take him out. The spooky thing about having lots of battlecopters is every single time you kill a battlecopter before the initial superpower, that is an entire bar to them. Because every single bar is 9,000 damage, essentially, or 9,000 value. So, yeah, just by taking out those battlecopters, you're just getting them closer and closer to Merchant Union 2. So, I mean, at this point, it's pretty much just a race against the clock, too, right? So, see what happens. See what happens. He's going in to capture this property right here, and there's not really anything I can do about it. I was forced to kind of retreat back here. And he does do a little bit of damage to the center there. It's not looking too good, but not looking too bad. Takes the shot to stop this guy from capping, and he takes a shot at my tank, like I was thinking, right? So I did put that tank there knowing it was in range once again, but I did it because I knew that I would be able to take out that battlecopter, and you know, 3,500 value versus 9,000 value, I thought it was a little bit worth it. Plus I can just go heal him up more later on. It's interesting that he's building a couple mechs though. So mechs are incredibly versatile, fairly good unit. For smaller maps and sort of like early on in the map. If you're gonna be building mechs, I would probably recommend to have a transport copter available, because one, they're slow as hell, right? They're not really going anywhere too quick. But if you do manage to have a transport copter, like say for instance if you're building mechs out of this property, you'd be able to transport them right to the front lines down here, and opposed to waiting 1, 2, 3, like 3 turns or so to actually get them. This property, it's not too bad to build mechs from because it's only 2 turns pretty much until they're in the fray. So not too bad. But yeah, if you can get transport copters, I would definitely suggest doing that. Alright, so lots of my guys are moving in to take shots. Now, I'm trying to play a little bit conservatively with a lot of these guys here, because I don't really want to lose too many units. And I know that he's only got 1 infantry here that he can actually do damage with at this point, so that's nice for me. For once. I feel like almost all these matches have just been like, ah yeah, it's just been pretty terrible. But on the other hand, like I've won most of them except for that Sturm, right? So we're just gonna pretend that Sturm battle didn't happen. Although I have to count it because, like, oh my god. Early HQ cap rush, you know, it's a viable strategy. You can't say that it's not. Yeah. Alright. So I did move a lot of my guys over here, making a death ball. And I make a battlecopter on my own and another tank. The only thing that I haven't actually done so far is build any indirect units, because I just haven't determined if they're valuable yet. I don't think that they are, because there's a lot of initial fights that are going on here that are all direct combat. So my thought is if I can just win the direct combat war at the beginning, then I would be able to heal my units up with my co-power, super co-power, whatever I choose, and then maybe build some indirects afterwards to help with that. But until then, it is all direct combat, baby. Yeah, so now I got 2 tanks coming in on the west-hand side of the map over here. So that is a little bit spooky. I don't really have too much to counter 2 tanks. I have 1 tank coming. And there's also a battlecopter up there too, which is not great. Not great. But I have this anti-air here, so as long as I don't lose my anti-air, you know, it's not too much. I don't know what he's doing with these moves. That's not a good move. Okay. I've said this lots of times, but if you're gonna be playing against Andy, do not sacrifice your units to do 2 points of damage. It's not worth it because Andy is just gonna be able to heal that up. Now, if you're doing it to get like charge for your co-power or super co-power, great, fantastic, do it. Great moves if you get that co-power, right? But just sacrificing a unit that can be used to defend your HQ or block the area to do like 2 damage, it's not worth it. I would not recommend that at all, unfortunately. So at this point, this Hachi player probably should have taken these units and backed up towards the HQ. You would leave this city open, so you know, it would be open, so I could potentially cap it, but if you use your tank right here, put your infantry around like this area defending this, you would be able to have a much better foothold right here. Because at this point, it's the same thing that I got going on over here, right? You have less bases, so you really need to use your units sparingly instead of just rushing them. So he's rushing this tank. I'm just going to be able to take out that tank, and I can take out the anti-air, or this battlecopter also, right? Can't take out the battlecopter anymore because he's moved it. But by pushing your units up so far in this scenario, it does not work out too well. So sometimes it's better to retreat and sort of replan or rebuild. Yeah, but yeah. It is what it is, right, guys? Alright, so more movements are happening. I decide not to even bother capturing that property because it is not gonna work. I take out the units that are right there, move my anti-air out of range, everything's safe, and then move a couple more of my units in place to defend. I clean up this area up here, right? Take out that tank that was sitting there. And I see an opening, right? So I go ahead and take it. Managed to do quite a bit of damage there. That was fairly good by me, I think. I personally think it was a good move. If you don't think it was, well, that's fair. I make a lot of dumb moves, like pretty much every single game I do, so yeah. I'm learning a little bit more every time. Alright, cool. Alright, day 11. And now Hachi, he's got some problems because now he's down to 14 units and I am up to 26. Now keep in mind that when you're the second player, your unit count will go up and the first players normally will go down a little bit at this point. So, I mean, all is not lost. All is not lost. And he does actually move his units back now, which is good. This is a good move. Is it a little bit late? Possibly. But he does move it back, so that's fantastic. That's great. Builds triple artillery units now. Now, I do enjoy a good artillery unit. This one is not bad because it would be able to move right here and fire on this square, which would give it some defense, but it's going to take at least 1 or 2 turns to actually get in position. So, yeah, that's okay. This one is not... God, my computer's slow today. Sorry, guys. This one is... yeah, it's going to take a little while to get in there, too. This one also going to take a little while. So this is also another reason why you don't sort of, like, recklessly sacrifice a lot of your units, too. Especially on a map like this, since it takes so long for units to actually get to the front line, because of the terrain and everything, you want to really use a lot of your units sparingly and make sure that you're getting the most use out of them. Because now, he's got no tanks up here, right? So this anti-air doesn't really have anything that can contest it, except for the mechs. And mechs are so slow that you don't really have too much to fear from them. Yeah, and I did end up building those artillery units like I was saying the other turn, right? So those guys are getting in. So now I feel like it's like a viable thing to use them because I have such an advantage on unit count. Now if I was still doing the direct combat war, I probably would have like held off a little bit. But the spooky thing about this is, so I'm ahead in unit count, but remember what I said about Hachi's power, right? Or co-power. He's able to spawn a unit on every single one of these cities if he has the funds to do it. So that alone is not good. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. You could possibly just spawn 15 units on the map out of nowhere. But I'm going to take that city from him, so he's not going to get one there at least. Ha! So that's fantastic. And like, I'm like playing so... Well, I mean, I'm actually not playing so bad, but I'm playing bad enough that I haven't even captured this property yet, right? Because I've been fighting over it. That's what I was saying earlier when I went to go capture this comm tower instead of moving up here. I probably could have moved the guy up there and actually captured the city. Would have put me at least like dead even with him on funds, but yeah, it did not work out. But like, I've been playing okay this entire map, so it hasn't been too bad. He does move in with these tanks and takes a shot at my anti-air unit finally, which is, it's very sad because this anti-air has been doing some work, right? Oh, he's gotten some stuff done, but yeah, he's injured now, so not working too well there. Okay, so he moves this battlecopter down here to take a shot at my tank, and terrible move considering how close I am to hyper upgrade, right? Would not really recommend that. It is interesting that he's saving a lot of funds though, because he's... Okay, that's a smart move when you're playing as Hachi, because you want to have as much funds as you possibly can for your merchant union. So if you have to build like a few smaller units to turn before you're about to get it, that's a good move, right? Because then your merchant union is just going to be that much stronger, which is great. Yeah. So at this point, I'm just like, alright, so he's got merchant union, so I'm just gonna go up and I'm gonna do as much flipping damage as I possibly can to him, to make sure that, you know, it's not super bad. Because I know it's gonna be bad regardless, right? So you just go up, do as much as you can, hope for the best. Plus, the more damage that I do, the more charge I build, so I'm gonna get my hyper upgrade at least, I know. So that is half decent. Actually go in for a sneaky little HQ cap, not expecting to actually get it, but I'm doing the psychological damage to him. Is what I'm doing, right? Because he's gonna see that and he's gonna be like, oh man, what do I do? I gotta stop that guy, right? And he's gonna be able to stop it. Like, it's not really gonna be a problem. But the issue is, now he has to attack that guy, right? Either by using his artillery unit here, or a double attack with these guys. So, psychological damage. Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. I swear to God, if you play some of the really, really good people in the league, also, they will use psychological damage on you all day, and it's terrible. It's terrible. They're so good at it. You know who you people are. And yeah, there it goes. So my psychological damage was not very good. But it was fun, regardless. Forced him to actually attack with that, so now he can't move it anywhere else into positions. So it is in a good position though, because I mean it's blocking the you know, the place, right? So one thing that he should have did is he should have actually popped the merchant union before making any of these attacks, because he would have had the defense bonus, and I think I think you get a firepower bonus. Pretty sure. Pretty sure. Anyways, so yeah, get out of here. Alright, so this artillery is moved into position, which is pretty good. This guy's moved into position, so now he's got like a really good, nice looking defense up there, which is pretty good. And he takes my battlecopter out. It took a lot of units to do it though. So yeah, okay. So he uses merchant unit, right? And he's got okay. How many funds does he have? 2,800. Okay, he's at 13 units right now, so we're gonna see. So pops an anti-air, a medium tank, a tank, another tank, an artillery, a tank, an infantry, an infantry, an infantry, an infantry, an infantry. And that's it. So he went from 13 to 24 units. So like I don't know, basic math. What is that? Like 11? 11. Wow. But that's like crazy because now like his value is like way higher than mine. So, but not anymore because Andy. Wow, I got healing, special magic healing powers. It's fantastic. That's why Andy's like my favorite CEO. You can go and make like a crap ton of mistakes and then just pop hyper upgrade and be like, whoa, look at me, I'm good, even though you're not good. Ah, it's beautiful. Alright, so moving up, taking shots, artillery moving up, battlecopters moving up, taking shots. Remember, I got that +1 movement too, so you know, if he was just out of range before, he's not out of range anymore. Fantastic. Infantry going up, taking shots. Tanks going up, taking shots. My anti-air unit is alive again. Ha! Doing fantastic down there too. Alrighty. So, yeah, just kind of moving around. I want to get my anti-air depth to full health. Yep, so moving a few more over here, taking some more shots. Tank moving up to take out this artillery units. Other tank moving up to take a shot at the other tank. Artillery moving up here. Infantry going in for the HQ capture. Taking a shot. Moving more infantry up. So this infantry is open to attack from this guy, and this guy right now. Right, but I feel like it's defended enough that it probably won't be killed. Although it might be killed. So he built a medium tank up here. So I built a medium tank down here because last turn I did actually save a few funds so that I would, you know, be able to have some fun. So that's cool. I do have that, so that'll defend me from this if it gets too much. Now, okay, so this is one thing that he probably could have did. So on the right-hand side of the map are the Eastern Front, right? He knows that I have a lot of pressure going up on him to get that HQ. So he could have actually built a few more bigger units over here that could actually contend with it, you know, possibly some one-shot potential. But he didn't do that. So fortunate for me, unfortunate for him. It does take out my battlecopter, which tried so hard and got so far, but in the end it doesn't even matter. But my infantry is sitting at 4 HP on his HQ now. So as we know from the Sturm battle, the HQ gives you plus 40%, plus with my super co-power that's plus 50%, so good. A few more movements going on. So his medium tank can't actually get too close to me because of my artillery units there too, which is great. Kind of holds him at bay for a little while. So this is where I start to consider movements that I can do to win the game. So I know I have to take out these two guys, the two artillery units right there. So I do a few movements. Join cap. I made sure to capture first, so now it's only down to 6. Time's a ticking. Take out the infantry. Take out that that boom stick over there. And then move a few more of my units around, so now he's got to be able to take out this infantry fully and this guy fully. This tank can't do it on its own, right? And I managed to box this guy in. This guy can't reach this guy. This guy is, I mean, he can do stuff, but he can't do much. right? So I'm thinking that I'm pretty good. I feel like I have moved a lot of my guys properly so that he can't actually stop that cap. So I'm just gonna fast forward this turn because it's just a little bit more movements. Day 15 rolls around. Then the medium tank is moving in to do some damage. Yeah, and he kind of just like blows right through my defenses there too, which is like kind of unfortunate, but yeah. So if this match had gone on for much longer, I probably would have lost this front over time. But I mean, this guy's in. Oh no, he's not in range. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would have had to take this guy out to do damage to this. And I probably... yeah, I would have been able to do that. Because this tank could have moved here to attack this, and then this anti-air would have probably finished it off, I'm thinking. Even if it didn't, I would be able to move this guy, which has 3 HP at that point, and go there, and then yeah, okay, I would have been fine. Yeah, so... does damage, gets merchant, or gets barter. So that's pretty good. It's got the barter, activates the barter, builds a mega tank, and then passes it off to me, and I just kind of go around, take some shots. Yeah, see, I was actually able to get that shot, and it doubled it up with another attack, so that was good. Actually, I think I did this attack first and then went up with this. It's not important. Either way, totally not important. Doesn't matter. Nobody cares. Yeah. Then I captured the HQ, managed to win by HQ cap, which was pretty good. So, yeah. A couple of mistakes were made by that Hachi there, mostly just sort of rushing in. Just rushing in, really. It was the main thing. Lots of rushing in over here. This front actually he held up pretty well. But yeah, best thing to do is just kind of hold off until you got that merchant union, and then just really unload on your opponent once you have that, because as long as you're even in units at the point of when you get the merchant union, you know, you're just going to be able to overrun him. And there's nothing he can do. He's just gonna go home, probably cry, maybe call his mom, tell him he loves him. That's pretty much about it, right? That's all you can do at that point. But I had a lot of fun with these matches. I did actually have fun with that Sturm match because I was trying to figure out, like, really quickly, like, what I could do. It's like, okay, can I actually, like, stop this, or is this just, like, inevitable, right? So props to him. Props to the Hachi player here as well. Like, I did have fun. He had a couple good moves, so, you know, I wasn't disappointed. No, it was good. And actually just seeing like what you could do with like a merchant union up in your face, totally fun. So yeah, I just want to thank everybody for sticking with me and watching the Broken Test episode 4 plus 4.5. In the next couple weeks here, I will be doing episode 5. So normally I do put the matches up in the public league, or public games. Just the Broken Test episode whatever, episode 5 is going to be next. So if you happen to see it and you want to join it, I mean, go ahead. The only CEOs left to actually play in this one is Colin, you know, everybody's personal favorite little banker boy, Sensei, the infantry spammer from hell, and might do Sturm again in a match that's not over in 7 turns. Cross fingers at least. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching. This has been Mr. Cannon, aka Semi-Original Guy, and I will see you on the next one. Take care, bye bye, and have a great day.